I thought we played complimentary football. We did exactly what we said we needed to do.
They pitch to Gibbs. Touchdown! And the Lions back up by 7.
Crazy right now. 3 games straight that happened in my career. Fumbles in critical moments.
Hey, this is a heck of a ball game. 4th and 2. Amon-Ra! Perfect throw and catch! Unreal! This is an 8-point win for the Lions to get to 2-1.
It was a statement win last night for Detroit, and it's getting late early in Baltimore. They're 1-2. They're at Kansas City this week. As Graziano said in our meeting this morning, one of those 2 teams is going to be 1-3. Meanwhile, the Texans and Rams are on the horizon as well, so the road to the top of the AFC doesn't look smooth. And Lamar Jackson last night after the game said he's fully aware of where his team sits.
I feel like week 1 was a wake-up call. You know, not just this loss. Week 1 was a wake-up call. Last week was a wake-up call, you know, because we started off slow last week. And, you know, we got beat tonight. The Lions had a great game plan. I feel like offense and defense for those guys played great. We just got to find a way to win.
So, Dominique, sort of representing the Ravens fans, for those of you just getting up and joining us, saying...
You know that? I didn't get elected.
Listen now. We have you speaking on their behalf.
Okay.
And the idea is, no, you're not panicking. Right. Obviously, this is still a very good team. Obviously, they'll still be heard from before it's all said and done. But I was thinking the one danger, like we're going to talk about the Chargers a little later, the one danger of missing opportunities, of being there and missing out, is you never know when those opportunities go away. Someone sneaks up and gets you. Yeah. So maybe it's the Chargers, maybe it's the Colts. One of these things, like these teams are coming, and the Ravens just keep knocking on the door, and maybe at some point it starts to go the wrong way.
I mean, I think the landscape around them is changing. It's getting more and more competitive. They're occasionally losing players and losing coaches. Like, that's going to happen. I think the way that you're thinking is right for most teams. But there's a couple of teams, specifically in the AFC, that have a guy that I feel like no matter what, the window's going to be open. As long as Josh Allen is there, as long as Lamar is there, as long as Patrick's there, they're going to find a way to continue to rebuild. I thought the Ravens' window closed earlier in this run, and then all of a sudden they're better than they were before. So it may not, it feels like the window's always going to be cracked as long as you have an MVP caliber quarterback.
That's right.
Yeah, I agree with that portion offensively. The problem for me is the defense continues to get worse. And last night was a physical whipping. It wasn't scheme. It wasn't blown big plays on the back end that we can tie up. This was, we're going to line up, run between the tackles, and we're going to move bodies out of the way. And the truth is, over there, there's not a lot of replacements that are come in and like shut the run down. There's not a lot of guys over there that are going to create a pass rush one-on-one. So you put your defense in vulnerable positions by creating a pass rush or trying to make sure you can shut the run down. That, to me, is the bigger issue. You have to see these guys come out because it's based on reputation for the Ravens right now instead of what's really happening on the field.
And as I look at Baltimore, I think it comes down to the moments for them. Defensively, they're in both of these ball games, whether it was Buffalo, whether it was the Lions. Who's the guy that steps up and makes a play?
That's right.
We talked about last year, they were giving up big plays. They draft Malachi Starks. They went in a direction, bringing in Jair Alexander, Awuzie in the back end to fix some of those issues. But now it comes down to, in the fourth quarter, not giving up touchdowns in Buffalo.
That's right.
In the fourth quarter, getting a big stop in a game when you really need it. So to me, that is more of the issue. Hey, they were 1-2 last year, losing to the Raiders, and they were able to bounce back and have a really good season. You're not concerned, but you want to see guys step up.
They had them inside the 5-yard line, and they broke out of that and went on a scoring drive, specifically in the fourth quarter. That's tough, man.
Yeah, I think I'm not worried about the Ravens. Again, 1-2 last year, they're fine. But these early games could end up mattering. The Week 1 loss to Buffalo is maybe the most important game any two teams will play in the AFC all year, because Buffalo's, the rest of their schedule doesn't look tough at all. I don't know when their next loss is. And now, if you're tied with them, then you have to go to Buffalo in the playoffs. And we saw how that went for the Ravens last year. So, yeah, they can't. We're talking about them differently than we're talking about the Chargers or the Colts, right? Can they break into this group? They're already in that group.
That's right.
The question is, can they elevate beyond it? And they're hurting their chances to do that with these early season.
There are very few teams that have not won a title about whom we say it's championship or bust, and they are one of them. Buffalo's another. We'll see where it goes. Well, let me do a little sound off here. We got interesting people saying interesting things around the league yesterday. One of them is Packers coach Matt LaFleur. After a disheartening loss to Cleveland on Sunday, the perfect season talk is very much over in Green Bay, and Matt LaFleur did not like it to begin with.
The goal, and I've said it a million times to you guys, I don't think I've obviously said it enough to our team. The goal is to go 1-0 every week. And it pisses me off when we start talking about things outside of the next game, things that are way down the road. Like, keep the focus on the present, on the now, and worry about getting better each and every day.
I'm so glad he said that. We reacted to Micah Parsons yesterday. It had come out of their locker room earlier in the week. It feels like a team that kind of read their press clippings a little bit 2 weeks into the season.
100%. And you'd played two. I mean, what are we talking about? It's just silliness, right? It's way.
I mean, you're not going to get here and get on Micah Parsons and not point out that the nonsense started with the O-line. That's where the nonsense started. That is true. The nonsense started with the big boys up front.
But no one would have heard it. They wouldn't have heard it if Micah didn't repeat it, because O-linemen don't listen to it. So we can say things that people should overlook. When Micah said it, it goes front page news.
It's not only that they talked about it, they also got destroyed. Like, this game they had no chance because Jordan Love had no time to throw. Yeah. If he was not throwing a screen pass, he was getting hit in the face by Myles Garrett or Graham. It was an ugly game up front.
It was brutal.
When you're playing, less is more when you're being interviewed. When you retire, you can come on a set and say whatever you want, talk for as long as you want.
That's right.
But with this, simply said, all of our goals are in front of us. We're just going to continue to work. No one needs to hear about a Super Bowl or an undefeated season.
Personally, as a reporter, I love it when guys say crazy crap like that. But I can understand why Matt LaFleur doesn't. But what a perfect week to get your message home. Hey, we just lost to the Browns, guys.
Right.
We just lost to the Browns after a week and a half off. So if you thought you were cool before this, think again. We got a lot more work.
I love LaFleur because of what they dominated the Detroit Lions, right, week one.
Mm-hmm.
He understands the ebb and flows of the NFL season. Not every week you're going to be firing on all cylinders. So to talk about that kind of stuff, he's exactly right. It's not just a cliche, it is distraction.
He's an excellent coach, and they go play Dallas this week. So Micah Parsons back in Dallas Sunday night. Fascinating game. The bigger question, our Packers unfocused, I mean, there's a terrible loss. But the bigger question there, or the bigger point to make, Jeff, is he can't throw that interception, right? Jordan Love, I mean, you cannot. The only way they might lose this game.
I don't care what Jeff got to say. This play is incredible. The disguise that they put up there, the cover zero with Delpit sloughed off into that. He was thinking, we got cover zero. I'm going to beat him inside. And then he falls back and gets that interception. You want to talk about run the ball? Better get out of here with
You know what this is?
Look at that. Look at it.
As exciting as it is, this ain't no tush push. It is not a tush push. It is not. This is no.
To be clear, for those of you who don't understand why we're so excited about this, Dominique loves in our meetings to talk about the coverage, and he uses language that like no one in the world understands. I think there are times I look over at
What's that coverage called?
I don't know. Is that the one robber? Finally the one robber?
It was a little bit of one hole, one robber action. It looked like zero.
The point is, if Jordan Love
you don't want to know about
Jordan Love just takes a knee, they're going to win this game, right? I mean, the only way they lose this game is to give them a touchdown.
This was a bait, and he fell for the bait. But the problem is, his body was so banged up from all the hits that he had received that he just forgot everything. Because your body can only take so much punishment before you do dumb stuff. That's what he did.
Said he should have got hit again. Hold on to the ball.
He's like, hold on. I don't want to hold on anymore.
But to your point, though, like, that's the hard thing about that position. Like, for Jordan Love, you want to make a play that's going to impact the game. And you've gone the entire game barely doing anything on offense. And here it is, the game.
Don't oversimplify it, Greeny. He thinks that it's cover zero, and he believes if his receiver wins inside, we got a long touchdown.
So is that less on Jordan Love?